Gothy, and I'm doing my March wrap-up for reading. So before I start, I just want to talk about the red lipstick thing, because I don't normally wear red lipstick. I don't wear lipstick at all, pretty much. But for the month of April, I'm going to be wearing red lipstick as part of the Red My Lips event for April. It's a campaign run by a non-profit organisation, and it's to raise awareness about sexual violence, combat rape myths and victim blaming, and also just demonstrates solidarity and support for survivors. So for all of April, all of my videos, I'm going to be wearing red lipstick. If you're interested in learning a bit more about the Red My Lips organisation movement, I'll put a link below as well. But there's other things you do. You don't have to wear red lipstick. I was also going to paint my nails, but that didn't happen because I was baking today instead. So yes, red lips will be a thing, and it probably looks really weird because green hair. But yes, so for March, I read 14 books, which isn't too bad. I had a ridiculously busy month because I've been dealing with helping my housemate get ready because he's going away this April long weekend, and I've been dealing with internet provider issues because they can't seem to fix the lag spikes that I've been getting, which is really, really annoying. And I've also been trying to fix my enrollment because I am going back to study. Even though I said I wouldn't this year, I'm going to go back and study, and I'm going to be doing a Certificate 4 in youth work, and then I will be deciding between mental health and disability, like between one of the two. Although ideally I would like to do both, and do mental health and disability, and then just kind of go from there. I might even go and do drugs and alcohol and other stuff as well. We'll see how it goes, basically. So that, I don't know the details for that yet. The orientation is in 2 weeks, so that's when I will find out how long I'll be studying for, but I think it's a 2-year course, so it's going to be a while. But that means that my reading and my cross-stitching will be slowing down, but this month I've done like shit all for both because it's just been running around getting everything sorted, and it's just been really crazy. So I'm actually surprised looking at this that I managed to read 14 books. But yeah, most of them, again, were library books, some of them were ebooks, so I don't have the physical copies for all of them, but I do have my list, which is very messy this time round. So this book technically is an April book. I finished it yesterday. It's Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Delario. This was really good. I really enjoyed it. I've always been a fan of books that sort of break away from that mold of fiction and the way that things are written, you know, things that incorporate letters and poetry and all sorts of stuff. Always been a big fan of things that step away from the norm. So I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. And the other one that I have here is, I found this at my library. I've been wanting to check out the Saga series for quite a while. This is a deluxe edition. This is book 1, the deluxe edition. And it has the first... What does it have in here? It's a bind-up of the first 18 chapters. So, yeah, I read through this, and I really love this series. Like, the artwork is amazing, and the story is really cool. I mean, it's probably no surprise that my favorite character, who unfortunately dies, it's no surprise that my favorite character is the Stork. She's one of the freelancers, and I really like her. I don't know, I like spiders and stuff, so there was an accidental spoiler in there too, I just realised. Sorry. The other one of the other ones I read, if I can get it off my shelf without disturbing my pop figures. I did. Memories Wake by Selena Fennick. She is one of my favourite artists. She also writes, and this was really good. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, and I have book 2 and 3 as ebooks on my e-reader. So, yes. And my copy, if I get to the page, I have a signed copy because I got to meet her, and it was awesome, and I was fangirling so much that it was probably really creepy because I, like, wheeled past her a few times before I built up the confidence to go and say hello and be like, hey, I'm cross-stitching one of your things. Yeah. But I did love this, and I love the illustrations as well. And the good thing is, if you get the ebook version, the ebook has the illustrations in it as well. So you don't miss out on the illustrations if you go for the ebook copy. Which is great. I mean, come on. Look at that. It's gorgeous. She draws so well. She's just amazing, artist-wise. And the book was really good, too. It's, yeah. Yes. I will be reading the next two, hopefully sometime soon, because I really enjoyed this. I want to read more. And I just, yeah. So that concludes the ones that I actually have physical copies of. The other books that I read, Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. It's, I gave that a 5 out of 5 stars. It's a sort of historical fiction. It's all about this woman who is charged with the murder of 2 people. And technically it wasn't her, but she ends up being tried and hung for it. Executed, actually, not hung. She gets executed for it, but before they get around to actually executing her, they have her staying with the family, because they can't keep her in the prison for the entire time. So it's about, yeah, so she starts to open up and talk about what happened, and it eventually comes out, but by that point it's too late to do anything. The other 2 people that were involved with the murder, they pretty much get off. So, yeah. And it's set in, I want to say 1600s. I think 15 or 1600s. And I think it's Iceland. One of those sorts of countries. Yeah, so it was really good to read, though. I read a graphic novel, which was Thor, the God Butcher, Volume 1, by Jason Aaron and Isard Ribic. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. This was one that I just went to the library and I just sat there for a while and read, and I had a whole bunch of other ones I was going to read, but people were just being too loud. Like, sometimes you just go to the library and there are just really loud people there, and you just cannot be bothered to stay there and put up with them, so yeah, I just left. But this was about a character called the God Butcher, and he can kill gods, basically. So he starts going around and killing every god that he can find until eventually Thor is the only one left. So I'm going to be hunting down the rest of that series as well, because I want to see what happens. Then there's the Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. It seems interesting, but I'm still a little hesitant. I don't know, there's just something about the series, like the first book, that sort of didn't sit right with me, and I haven't worked out what that is yet. So, what else is on here? Mention that one. How to Build a Girl by Caitlin Moran. This is a book that I wasn't going to pick up. I've never heard of it before, and it was just sitting on my library. It has like a feature shelf where they just put random books there. Sometimes new books that they have come into the library, sometimes just random ones. And it was sitting there, it looked really interesting, and I put it back down, and I'm like, no, you know what, I'm going to take it. And it ended up being like this really good read. It's like a coming-of-age story. about a girl in England, and okay, uh, about a girl, and she becomes a music journalist, like a music critic and stuff, and it's just about her trying to grow up way too fast, and yeah, it was really good. I quite enjoyed it. She's such a fangirl, and I totally related to that, like, musically fangirl. So, then, I can hold that in half now. Then we have Mystic City by Theo Lawrence, which sort of comes off as like a Romeo and Juliet supernatural magic sort of storyline. Interesting. Yeah, and that's, again, there was something about this one that sort of didn't sit right with me, but again, I'm still not quite sure. There's just something about it that doesn't sit right, and I don't know what it is yet. Then I read Mitosis by Brandon Sanderson, which is just a really small novella from the Steelheart series, the Reckoner series, sorry. And, because I read Firefight in February, and they kept referencing Mitosis, so I thought, okay, I better go get Mitosis. Put a reserve thing on the book at the library. When I finally got it, I was sitting there and I'm reading it and thinking, this is really short, and it was actually really anticlimactic. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because it wasn't bad, but yeah, I just felt like it was really anticlimactic, especially because they kept referencing Mitosis in Firefight. So I sort of thought there would be a bit more to it, a bit more substance. And then one of the other books that I picked up this month, which was not sure, never heard of it, just going to pick it up anyway, books, was called The Sky So Heavy. This is from an Australian author called Claire Zorn. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And it was like a apocalyptic dystopia, like it was like a post-apocalyptic kind of thing, like the aftermath of a nuclear warhead explosion in another country, and how the fallout happens here in Australia. And the thing is, too, the thing that I really liked about this was I recognised a lot of the places, I recognised, because it takes place in the Blue Mountains, and I'm about an hour, 2 hours from the Blue Mountains, depending on whereabouts in the Blue Mountains you're talking about. So it was really good because I could recognise the place. I knew the school they were talking about. When they came down the highway and were going into the city to try and find one of the parents, I knew exactly where they were. When they were talking about barricades being set up in this place and this place, I knew where they were. So that was really good. But it was just a really interesting book. There's a slight romance aspect, but not overkill romance, so that was really nice. Very quick to read. I'd probably say that it's like advanced YA. I don't know. But yeah, it was really interesting, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm really glad I picked that up. I believe she has another book that she's written, not related to this one, and I'm going to try and hunt that down at the library as well. And we have another graphic novel, which was Sweet Tooth, Volume 1, Out of the Deep Woods. This is by Jeff Lemire. I'm waiting for Volume 2 and 3 to come into my local library, so I can pick up those 2 and then 4 and 5 as well. This was really good. It was like really quirky and stuff. It's another sort of post-apocalyptic dystopian sort of thing, where humans have been exposed to something that has made some people born part animal. It's about this little boy who lives in a cabin in the woods with his father, and things change for the little boy. So the series kind of follows the little boy, and I'm hoping you find out how the whole mutation thing happened and how it came about, because that's what I'm really interested in. But I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's really quirky and weird. The art style is really cool. And I get, and I also really do get the feeling that it's really going to bring out how ugly humans can be, not the mutated humans. So, yeah, I always like that sort of stuff. And then the last three, Illusion by Sherilyn Kenyon, which is book 5 in the Chronicles of Nick series, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I love this series. I love Sherilyn Kenyon. She hasn't written anything that I haven't liked. I also read I Was Here by Gail Forman, which wasn't bad. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. But yeah, it wasn't bad. It was interesting and a little bit heartbreaking at the end as well. And then I read Goliath by Scott Westerfeld, which got a 5 out of 5 stars, and I am so sad that the series is now over, because I don't want it to be over. I want more. And now we come to the book haul. So I have a few books. Book 4 in the, what do they call the series? I think it's just called the Study series. But it's book 4, Maria Snyder, and the cover mostly matches the 3 that I already have. So I'm pretty happy with that. Move that out of the way slightly so I can put the book there. This one I got off Bookswap Australia, so I didn't technically pay anything for it. Happy Slap by Jellyfish, which is one of the Carl Pilkington books. I love his sense of humour. I love his way of thinking. So, yes. Also from this one was off Bookmooch, which is another book swap site, called Dark Life by Cat Falls. This one just sounded interesting. You know, I've been having some pretty good luck with just picking up random books I've never heard of before and reading them, so yeah, I picked that up. This one is The Lost Hero, Heroes of Olympus, Rick Riordan. I'm collecting this series without actually having to pay for them. So this one I got off Bookmooch as well. This one is this is a sort of, I'm going to say like a book carousel sort of thing. A friend of a friend read it and then passed it on to someone else, who's now passed it on to me. So it's the Billy Idol book, Dancing with Myself. So when I'm finished with it, I'm going to pass it on to someone else who wants to read it. It doesn't have a back cover. It was damaged, and that's why the friend of a friend got it. Then I also have Almost Moon by Alice Sebold, who wrote, is it Lovely Bones? Yeah, Lovely Bones. Also off Bookmooch. These two are comics. I got Cyanide Happiness, I'm Giving You the Finger, and Volume 2 for $10 each, which I love Cyanide Happiness. And then also off Bookmooch, The Memory Keeper's Daughter by Kim Edwards. This one seems really interesting to me, so when it popped up on Bookmooch I thought, hey, why not? And this one arrived today, and Kiki Friedman, Kill Two Birds and Get Stoned. I haven't taken it out of the plastic yet. This one came off Bookswap Australia as well. So I'll be linking those sites down below. So if you do have books that you want to get rid of, and you might not be having any luck swapping them on Goodreads or selling them on eBay or whatever, Bookswap and Bookmooch both work on a point system. You get points for uploading a book into your list of things. You can use those points to swap to get books off other people. If people want the books that you've got, they give you a point, you send them the book, you use that point to get another book. So I think it's quite fun. And that's about it, I think, for my book wrap-up. I do believe so. Yes? Yes, we're good. So I'll see you next time.